This week's Coaches of the Week, sponsored by Exquisite Lawns, goes to the Dream Team duo, Mr. Bradford Folds and Ashley Dietz. You can find Bradford and Ashley on the sideline at any given soccer game, coaching their hearts out. They are superb encouragers. They guide the girls well. They have excellent practices, and their kids overall love them. So, Bradford and Ashley, great job. You are this week's Coaches of the Week, sponsored by Exquisite Lawns. Our Player of the Week, sponsored by Innovative Insight Solutions, goes to Mr. Leo Gonzalez of the Kinder Chariots Group. This past week, I watched as Leo scored not one, but 2 goals in a very dramatic fashion. The Chariots were down 2-3, and at the very end of the first quarter, Leo made a goal that tied it 3-3. So, Leo, great job. You hustled so much on the field. You played with determination, you played with passion, and you are this week's Player of the Week, sponsored by Innovative Insight Solutions. Dream about how technology could automate or improve your business, and then give them a call and tell them about it. All right, welcome back to Winning with the Home Team. I'm Katrina.
I'm Todd.
And today we have probably the most important guest in Todd's life, and that's his wife, Amy. Hi. What's up, Amy?
Nothing, not a whole lot. Nervous.
No need to be nervous at all. You are the backbone of this guy.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about marriage, talk about family. You guys have a ton of experience. You've been married for 24 years, right? It'll be 25 in
September.
In September, which is the best month, I
Yeah.
think. And you have 5 kids.
5 kids.
Cameron is 26 years old.
Monday
He will be 26 years old.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's your oldest. And then you have Cole, which is...
Well, Macy is next.
Oh, that's right. Macy, who is married now.
Who is married. And
Wait, wait, you have more than 5 kids now.
No.
Like,
Well,
you have,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's like
we don't count him.
does Ethan count like
Yeah, we
5
do.
and a half or 6?
6.
But Ethan, we love you.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Macy just got married. She's your second oldest.
She is.
And she's
3.
23.
Uh-huh.
And then Cole is
He's
22.
Yep.
22.
He just turned 22.
Yep.
Last week.
And then Colin is...
18, about to be 19.
I want Todd to answer these.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Is it obvious? And I'm like...
No, I'm just kidding. And then
Sai
the
is
baby,
15.
which is no longer a baby.
He's no longer a baby.
Baby
That's
Sai.
right.
Would he consider himself the baby of the
100%.
family? Would his
100%.
siblings also consider
Yes.
him the baby?
Yes.
And so
I think he relishes that role.
yeah. So from the older siblings' perspective, does he get treated?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does he
Yeah.
enjoy that?
Yes.
So he relishes in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
I don't think he knows any different.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm the baby of my family.
Yeah.
And they always said I was treated different or this and that and the other. And I was like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And Sai won't. We're going to treat him exactly the same.
No.
No, but being a parent at 24 and being a parent at 35 are 2 totally different things.
Okay, so let's launch off with that. That's a good launching point. So yeah, you said again, how old were you when you had Cameron?
24.
24, right? And now you don't even have to say your age, right?
I'm 50.
But there's a woo!
Yes.
Half a century old.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, Todd, I've heard you say over and over again that you are not the parent you were
Right.
with Cameron that you are now with Sai.
For sure.
So, 5 kids with a lot of years in between. How would you describe the differences in parents that you are now with Sai being the baby versus when you guys were in your 20s and had Cameron?
Yeah.
I think when you're new and you don't know anything, you just try really hard and you have all these expectations and probably rules, and maybe that's more me than it is him, of how to do it and how it's supposed to be, and everybody's watching versus
Yeah.
With Cy, what is or isn't important, still not necessarily have all the answers, but just a little more life experience
Yeah.
behind that. So things aren't as, okay, that really doesn't matter in the long run. Like, what is the most important thing in a bedtime, isn't it? Macy will hate to hear me say that, but, just different things like that.
Yeah.
So.
What was her bedtime?
The big kids. So I define big kids as the first three.
Okay.
And
Okay.
little kids is
Okay.
really
Okay.
Colin's kind of in the middle, but the big three
Okay.
and the little two.
Got it.
7:30.
7:30 was bedtime for Macy,
For
well
all
as
of
Cole
them. And Cameron.
Cameron.
Yes.
7:30.
And they would go to bed saying, "Mom, the sun's out."
Time change made it difficult.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Todd worked nights
Yeah.
and weekends. And so they'll remember this. Nighttime is for grown-ups. So kids need to go to bed so that the grown-up can what's the word? Not
Just
reevaluate, but
recalibrate.
just
Yeah,
recalibrate. That's
yeah,
the word because
yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought a lot about this question, and I think for me, she's right. She is the rule follower. She's the rule person. I'm more of the don't tell your mom, but here's some ice cream kind of parent, But for me, I think early on it was about selfishness. It was about I want my child to become this. I want my child to be a certain way. And I don't even know that Cameron will remember this, but when he was young, he was really young, and he said, "Oh, my favorite color is purple."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, purple."
I just remember this. I don't know if he remembers this,
Yeah.
but I remember this.
and I'm like,
This
"Boy,"
whole conversation.
yes.
Yeah, about purple.
I'm like, boys
You're wearing
don't.
a purple shirt
I know
right now.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, boys don't like purple, and
For sure, he
that-
said that.
So, when it came to when they were 4 years old, it's time to play sports. It's time to do this and that, and we need to make sure that I'm raising you guys the right way. And I think in my 20s, I was affected a lot by how I was raised, and I just wanted to push my kids as hard as I could towards the things that I wanted them to become. And with Cy now as the baby, like, you're good. Like, you want to be a drummer, go be a drummer. Be the best drummer you can be. Like, whatever. That doesn't mean that he gets to willy-nilly be whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, there's still some boundaries, but I've learned to accept their talents and their interests a whole lot more. And not just accept it, but participate in it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think Macy taught me that a lot because I became a dance dad and had no idea anything about that. But then found myself on weekends at dance competitions and being the only dad in the dance studio and things like that. And it helped me to expand my horizons. So having a girl changed it for me a lot. But man, I look back in many ways, guys, if you're watching or listening to this, it's really easy to become selfish in your marriage and in parenting, and you have to really take a step back and say, what am I doing? Am I building relationships with my spouse and my kids, or am I just creating a road that is necessary that they have to travel, which is a mistake?
Yeah. 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 I have those young dads in my head, many of which I saw several weeks ago, doing the pre-K and the kinder little soccer pictures.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, I think it's with the best of intentions.
Oh,
that they
absolutely.
want, that
Absolutely.
they want their kids to, follow in their footsteps.
Yes.
Because number one, it excites them, and even from, like a Taya perspective, like, I think in the last 2 years, I've had to tap the brakes on the competitive nature
Right.
of what I want to see,
because
she really is just happy to be with her friends. But yeah, that's interesting. And I think, do you think that guys, dads in that era of life, do you think that they can fully understand that in their lack of experience, or do you think that experience is the key?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. We don't want to admit it in our 20s and honestly in our 30s, but there's a lot of immaturity that, different people have different life experience. And I think maybe that's the key is the more life experience you have, the more you realize that it's not about the what the kids are doing, but how they're doing it. And again, you want to impress, right? It's the same reason why we go on social media and we post all the things. You want everybody to be impressed with, oh my gosh, your kid is great, right? Like he's a reflection of you. And so when you're in your 20s and 30s, it's more about, again, being selfish. Like, I want my kid to represent who I am well, and I want everybody to fall in love with them. But you're really just saying, I want them to fall in love with me. And as you grow and you gain life experience, less and less do you care what people think.
Right.
And more you begin to what?
Oh, no. I've never really cared what people think. That's a big
Well,
difference between us. That's 100%
I think
the case.
I think with men it's different.
For sure. For sure.
And especially when it comes to sports, which is what we deal with mostly. Everybody wants to raise the next Major League Baseball player or the next NFL quarterback. And we miss the boat on developing relationship with our kids, especially our boys. How you think it's different for you?
No, I don't think it's different for me. I mean, I definitely have apologized to Cameron as an adult about, hey, we were learning with you.
Yeah.
And I think probably about the time that we got to high school is when, and I probably should have brought Kleenex because I'm going to cry every time we talk about my kids, and I'm a crier. But we were trying to make Cameron fit into a box that we created, and the bottom line is God created the box, and it may not even be a box. It could be a circle, it could be a square, like whatever it is. But like we can't mold him into what we want him to be. And once you realize that, it changes how you parent your children.
Yeah.
Could you say that again for the people in the back? That was so good.
Yeah.
You can't mold your children into something that God did not create them to be.
For sure. For sure.
And you mentioned the box. Like you mentioned the box that you guys were trying to place him in. Do you think that box was something that you guys made up, or that was, culturally impacted by what you guys
I mean, I think it's
decided?
everything. I think it's internal. I think it's external. I think that, sorry, I really do a cry. You see the potential in all these things like, oh, he's so smart and he's so this and he should do this.
With the
Well,
best of intentions.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what if he doesn't want to do that?
Yeah.
You know? And like, sure, we put Cameron in sports and sweetheart, no offense, but like, no, he didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like
He
that was
didn't.
not his thing, right?
didn't.
And
Yeah.
by the time we figured it out, like he's a numbers guy, and he's
Yeah.
like I'm a mathlete. I'm not an athlete, and that is 100% true.
Yeah.
And like, what did you do in high school? I did geek club, whatever. Like, go for it. And it's just hard because go play soccer, go play baseball, and just he was miserable,
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's, he's 26 now, and he has a fantastic job and does great, and he's super happy. And his brothers still make fun of him for not being an athlete, and to this day. But I also think, like with Cole, who is our middle child, and he came home one day and said, "I want to be in the band," which is her thing through and through. And at that point, I had Cameron, who had no interest in athletics. I had Macy, who was a dancer, and now Cole wants to be in band. And I don't know. I think I was in the garage banging my head against the wall at some point. But again, as I got older, I realized how much I loved watching him be happy. I loved going and watching Cole smile.
Yeah.
And that's what it got to be about.
Yeah.
I loved that just as much as I love watching Colin hit or Cy, play basketball, whatever it is. I think you grow and you mature and you.
You mentioned several times you focus so much on the what, like doing a specific sport or a specific activity, rather than on the how.
Yeah.
So as you guys have talked about this, like what is the most important, like what is the how? How did you guys raise your kids in the how? Like how you should be, how what kind of person do you want to be? Like what were the most important things to you guys that you taught your kids in the how part?
You go first, because I know exactly how I want to answer this.
I don't know about the how so much, but I think, again, originally, like he said, the selfish part of how you're raising your children was we wanted them to be the best, right? As opposed to their best, which is two totally different things. I mean, Cameron had a lot of expectations on his shoulders of, you have to get the best grades, you have to be the best behaved, you have to, everything is yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And that's a lot of pressure. And I feel bad because we're talking about Cameron a lot, but for Cameron specifically, he is such a, is meek the right word? He is the most calm person I don't think he's ever raised his voice
Yeah.
to anyone, not
Right.
even his siblings, like
Yeah.
anyone. He's just, that's not who he is. And I'm a little bit passionate in my reactions to things, so I don't understand that. And, and like, it's just, I can't even remember where I started because I'm so distracted, but the whole be the best versus your best. And so once you find that kind of sweet spot, so that's what I think of as far as the how is go out there and have fun and you will be the best or your best.
Yeah.
I think that's another great nugget, honestly. Like, being the best versus being their best. And their best is defined by how God created them, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I will tell, Taya constantly, you want to do your best. Why? Because God put greatness inside of you, Like, he made you smart.
Yep.
That's why you want to do well in school and pay attention and do all those things. But yeah, I think it creates, to your point, a whole nother pressure point when you were saying be the best,
Yeah.
right? A pressure that I don't think that our kids are made for at all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. And for me, it the how begins and ends with relationship. It is about how you communicate with your child. And like you said earlier, I mean, every child is different. And she will say, don't put me on a pedestal, but she's consistent in how she has, effectively raised our children. And I'm not saying I was along for the ride. I was a big part of that. But she kind of sets the standard for consistently loving her children. Every single one of those kids know what it's like to have their mom get out of the car in the pickup line and go give them a huge hug, because that's the way she loves on her kids. And it's interesting because with Cameron, I think I spent too much time trying to drill into him, no, you need to make sure that you get this grade and we're going to sit down and we're going to study and we're going to do this. And half the time it ended up with him being in a timeout chair or something like that. And just this week at Cy's
He was
game.
in the timeout chair?
Oh, gosh. I think he lived in the timeout chair.
No, just this week he was in the timeout
Oh, no,
chair.
no. This week was Cy, just to kind of give you the contrast. That was Cameron, and that was his upbringing because I didn't know any better. And, I raised my voice at definitely the older ones. And then this week, Cy, he was pitching, and he was struggling. And after every pitch, he would look over at the coach, and he was waiting for the coach to take him out. And so after the game, he came and he sat by me in the bleachers. I would have handled that completely differently with Cameron, but he sat down beside me, and I don't think I even looked at him. And I said, "Your mental toughness has to change." And he said, "Yes, sir." And he got up and he went back in the second game. He was a completely different player, and there was no harsh words. I mean, there's just a connection because I didn't understand early on about building relationship with Cameron, so that in those moments, I don't have to be stern. I can just say, "Hey, look, this is what I think. This is what I see."
Yeah.
Cy and I have that relationship.
Right.
I'm rebuilding that with my older kids.
Yeah.
But with the younger kids, like, we see things very eye to eye, because I've learned the value of building my relationships with them, even as young children.
That's good. I mean, that's another nugget for sure. But I mean, what would you say to that, Amy? Like,
No, I think it's true. There's a little bit more of relaxed relationships that we have with Colin and Cy than we did with the first three. A lot of that, again, has to do with our age. It has to do with the fact that those three babies were born in 4 years.
Yeah.
We were barely married.
Yeah.
And there's just a whole lot of external just stuff, right? And he mentioned yelling. My older three children, I apparently was a yeller. But they may say I still am. I don't know. But they affectionately, I'm going to say affectionately, called me the dragon.
the dragon?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And like, so that's why, like, and it's, I can laugh about it now, but when your babies say, "Oh yeah, look out, like here comes the dragon," that's like, "Oh, okay. I must raise my voice a lot."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of self-reflection happens, and I'm sure the little two say, yes, I'm a loud talker too. So there might be some misunderstanding about what is yelling and what is loud talking.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, like, look out, like, here comes the dragon. I'm like, I'm not going to do that or whatever. But I think we just have a little bit more relaxed and fun relationship than we did with the other three, because it was just like, there's three of them. I'm by myself. He's gone half the week. Like, what do I do? You know, and you yell.
So do the older three, is there like a sibling rivalry like between the older three and the younger two?
I don't think so at all.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think they all have such different interests. I mean, they're all different interests, except for maybe Colin and Cy.
Well, I would say here's, again, with Cy, the benefit of being the youngest. We encouraged, I will say encouraged, not forced, but encouraged our kids to be in at least one, like, outside activity.
Extracurricular.
But only one, because
Right,
with
because you
multiples,
gotta-
one is still an every night a week. And we gently steered them into different things for ease of just life, and also kind of taking a little bit of that competition away from them in that regard. But by the time we got to Cy, and because also we were still in the, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to do it well, instead of you're going to do this and you're going to have fun. So with Cy, we're like, have fun. And so, you know, I would say of all the things he's done, kind of everything that his siblings have done except the academics portion. So
He's not a reader.
He's my guy.
Yeah.
not because he can't, but it's never, he loves school because it's his friends. He is very social, but he did do band.
Yeah.
He did do baseball. He did do tap for a little bit. Like, he even did, like, I want to go where Macy is. Like, he wanted to be where they all were. So we're like, okay.
Yeah.
So he's the only one. And even my sisters have mentioned, they're like, well, how come Cy gets to play basketball and baseball and whatever? And I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What does it matter? He's just having fun, because there's no expectation of perfection. And you're going to have a future in this. You like to play basketball? Let's play basketball. You like to play baseball? Let's play baseball.
Yeah.
So he's really the only one who's done multiple things and really been allowed to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so he's benefited from that.
And I think that there's something also to be said for both Colin and Cy being the younger two, that they've seen the success that their siblings have had.
For sure.
You know?
Sure. Yeah.
And
that's driven them a little bit.
yeah, I think
100%.
so.
Yeah.
I think so, because, you know, Cameron has this great job and Macy did dance professionally, and, you know, Cole is graduating college and going on to medical school and all this stuff. And I think they see that and they go, okay, maybe there is something to how this works. But even the other night when Cy was playing, Colin got done with practice. He goes into center field and sets up on top of the wall in center field. You know, there's a little, you know, space up there for him to sit. Cy comes up with the bases loaded, gets a base hit, and on video, she's got the base hit, and in the background is Colin jumping up and down and cheering for him.
Jumping up and down.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is about the sweetest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
So-
they do encourage and support each other.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I mean, Colin and Cy in 2026 with a 15-year-old and an almost 19-year-old, those are the first two kids of ours to be in school together at the same time.
Yeah.
Because of where we chose to send our kids, right? ACA and how it works, and high schools and different things. And all the boys individually are 4 years apart. So this is the first two kids we've had at the same school ever.
Yeah.
And it is so much fun.
Yeah.
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 That's good, man. At what point did you realize that you guys had to parent? Well, no, let me back up. This is a question. Do you parent each of your kids differently?
Yes.
Okay, so at what point did you realize, hey, I can't treat Macy the way that, or I can't treat, Macy the way that I treated Colin, or I can't treat Cole the way that I treated the other two?
I don't know that it's a defining moment, but different things work for different people, and it's almost like a love language thing, but learning just how they respond, right? Timeout was a very effective tool for Cameron, and a little bit Macy, but not Cole.
Care less.
No.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just different. Things work for different kids, and I don't know if it's that we realized we had to parent each of them differently so much as just that we had to be different.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me it was different with Macy just because she's my only little girl.
Yeah.
And if you ask the boys, they'll all say Macy's your favorite.
Yeah.
Just because it's a different thing.
Different relationship.
For dads and girls. But I will tell you, you say that there's not a moment. I can pinpoint a moment when I knew I had to change how I treated each one individually. And that was when Cole came home his freshman year from college, and I walked past him in the living room. This was what, Thanksgiving or Christmas, and he had an earring in his ear.
Oh.
And she took him to do it.
I know this story, but I didn't know that you took him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was with them. I'm like,
Yeah.
do it. Why not?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I saw it and I
And you
kept
didn't give him
walking.
the heads up?
No.
That's awesome.
No, it's not awesome. No, I walked past and I kept walking. And I had to do some really like calming exercises before I went back in there to, because I didn't want to just go in there and rip him, and address it like that. So I don't even know how I did or if I did right then, but I knew at that moment that I can't be the same dad. Like I can't. I have to think a little bit about how I want to respond and react to this before I do it, because not.
I feel like that's late. Like that's just 4 years ago, 3
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, you're probably, yeah. I mean, it is late, but before that, it was just Macy, and I was different with Macy. So,
So you think you've been
we're discovering it.
I love
So,
it. I love it.
that you've been the same kind of with the boys. You've intentionally treated them the same because you're raising men.
yes, yes.
Interesting.
And I do think that there is, listen, I don't want people to hear me say that just let the boys do whatever they want, as we've gotten older, because that's not the case. Like I said, there's still boundaries and stuff. There's still things that you're teaching young boys to become men. And I think you just, again, the how you go about it. Cole doesn't want to sit down and have a giant talk. He doesn't. That's not what it's about. With him, I have to be a little bit more to the point because he wants you to get cut to the chase. Sai doesn't, like, he's just cool with whatever. Sai will come up and say, "Hey, I love you, Dad," or whatever. And Colin and I are very close in personality, so each one has a different pressure point. But there's still ways, and I think we've talked about this. How do you parent boys that are growing into be men? And for me, it is about how we relate to each other. It's about how they need to see that I take care of her. They need to see that I honor her, that I protect her, that I do all the things that they're going to be expected to do. They need to see that it's not just her having to do everything, that I'm not just along for the ride, that I'm stepping up and doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and also teaching them life lessons along the way. That there needs to be father-son time. It's great to have family time, but there needs to be times, what was it? We would do the man day,
yeah.
whatever, where we would
What
go.
does man day involve?
So we would go
Beef?
hiking.
Like protein?
Yes.
Beef.
Yes. We would go hiking. We would go to baseball games. We would do the things that, are important where we could get away and talk about. And we would literally talk about, what does it look like to grow up as a man? What are the expectations of you as a godly father in the future, a godly husband? And for you guys that are listening, they listened. They may have listened in different ways. Some of them asked questions, some of them did not, but you could see the wheels turning. And as they get older, you see some of that stuff start to fall into place. So it's pretty cool.
That's good. Did you and Macy have a similar
No.
date?
Well, no. Macy is very similar to who I was as a child, as a girl. And for that reason, we were at heads or butted heads
Yeah, for sure.
all the time because, I'm dealing with me. I know some of the choices and decisions I made, and she is not going to make those choices and decisions because I'm not going to let her. And that was hard. We had a hard kind of contentious relationship in her growing up years. When she left and we were separated, and that relationship changes a little bit, right? From kind of there was a lot of, I'm going to put my thumb on her and let her, when she kind of blossomed into who she is, or her needs for me changed, and I recognized that, okay, she actually does need me, but in this way, not in the way I think she needs me. It made a big difference, and now I think we're good. We have a lot of fun. I'm so glad she's back. She's like, well, so I spent the night with her last night. Like, she is living her best life with her family right now, which I love. But no, so our growing up years was the hardest for me with her, and easier for me with the boys. Which I find odd because I grew up with only sisters and I wanted girls.
Yeah. So let's land there for a second. You said that when you realized that Macy's needs were different than what you wanted your needs to be. For those that are listening and maybe they can relate, what would be your piece of encouragement there?
I think it's just, again, it's like he said originally, it's that selfish part of parenting. This is what I want to get out of parenting, but that is really not the point, right? So we're entrusted to raise these children and really, honestly, to leave us. In my mind, I want my little chickens to stay in my little coop for the rest of their lives. And that's just not how it was designed. They're not for us. They're a gift for us to then just go forth into the world and keep carrying on, right? And so I think when you realize that, and it's like, okay, we're shaping, we're guiding, but we're not forcing, that it changes. It just kind of changes that relationship across the board with everyone.
Was there a moment that clicked for you guys as a couple? That like, I'm not raising kids to stay in my house. I'm raising kids to go into the world and be self-sustaining adults.
There was for me.
I would say it was 2018 when Cameron and Macy both left at the same time.
Yep.
And I realized I really don't have a choice. Like, my family, when we moved to Arlington, my parents have been in the same house since they moved here since 1979 when they built this house, and I was born here. I'm the only one in my family who was born here. And we've all stayed within 5 minutes. It's just how it naturally happened. I was the only one who went to college, but I went to college as an afterthought because I was like, well, what am I going to do now? Okay, I guess I'll go to college, right?
Same.
It wasn't like I didn't have a desire, but it was different, right? It's in the 1900s. But I wanted that. That was one of the things that we did talk about. Like, I wanted that for our kids. I want them to go to college, and I want them to have the opportunity to go wherever they want, and we're going to try our best to facilitate that for them. And then they chose places like Alabama, and Macy chose Philadelphia. I was like, wow, really? Like, I was thinking like, UT, Denton, like Texas, right? And then it's like, okay, they're going to meet people out there. What if they settle out there? Like, what am I going to do? My kids have been blessed. We live in Arlington. My parents live here. Todd's parents live in Mesquite. It's 45 minutes away. Do we get out there as much as we could? No. But they get out there way more than I saw any of my grandparents. So the relationship that my kids have with their grandparents is just so amazing to me. Like, I love it. We foster that. Somewhere along the way, I determined that I'm not always going to have my kids with me every Christmas morning. They're going to get married. They're going to have families of their own. And so years ago, I was like, Todd, you need to start praying for me now as a mom, because I know that can't always happen. So I've been telling my kids, you do you. And he said it at the wedding, and Ms. Dawson even mentioned it yesterday. She said it was so amazing what your husband said when he said, I'm not gaining. Some of y'all would say I'm gaining a son. And he goes, but I'm not. And everybody was like, okay, where is this going? He's like, because they're their own family. Like, they come first. Yes, I'm gaining a son. And yes, he's part of my family, but theirs is what's more important. Macy and Ethan, their family comes first. So they get to decide what their Christmas traditions are. They get to decide what they do at Easter, if they have an Easter bunny or they don't, or whatever. That's not for us to decide. So I tell them, our house is always open on Christmas. Come, don't, go do what you're going to do. But like every 5 years, can you all show up at one time? Just surprise me, because that would make my heart happy. But I cannot have an expectation of that any longer, because that is not my family. Ultimately, really, he's my family, right? Because he's not going anywhere. He's not allowed to. He's not, but he's not going anywhere. But they are, because that's how it was designed. So truly, this is what we need to focus on. And I would absolutely say, because I was thinking about this is really random, but like from 1999 to 2012, I was either pregnant or nursing. And that is like all of my focus.
Yeah.
Should it have been? Probably not. Because some of that focus ends up being a little bit to the detriment of our marriage. And again, that's a topic for another day, but 2013, so 1999 to 2012, and listen to the dates. 2013 was a pivotal moment in our marriage.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is when everything changed because it started here, but then it reflected down to the kids. And that's part of the reason why I think Colin and Cy have that different relationship because Cy was 2 years old, Colin was 5 years old. They didn't really know the before, but the big kids knew the before.
Right.
And I would hope that 2013 isn't a pivotal moment in their life, but when they look back and they think or they hear this, they're going to be like, oh, it really was.
Yeah.
They don't need to know the why,
Yeah.
but that is when it changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Again, with the tears.
I'm not talking about
That's really good. All right. Well, I'm Katrina, and I'm here with my friend Josh Thibodeau from the Coverage Crew.
Hey, that's right. And I'm proud to support the home team. I'm a local State Farm agent, and we call ourselves the Coverage Crew. You can find me online at thecoveragecrew.com.
All right. So this podcast, is winning with the home team, and there's a big faith component to that. So how has your faith shaped parenting decisions differently in each stage of your kids' lives?
That's hard. I mean, I grew up in church. I was raised in church. I didn't really make a decision toward the Lord until my late 20s. Cameron and Macy were both already born. So I do think that makes a little bit of a difference.
Yeah,
But
totally.
again, like we spoke to a little bit earlier, kind of when you're in the thick of raising kids and early marriage and all of that stuff, still wasn't a focus like it probably should have been.
Yeah.
But once I realized kind of how the Lord's grace towards me is and knowing that there is nothing I could do that would make him not love me, I started telling my children that. There is nothing you can do that would make me not love you. So let's work through whatever it is that we have to work through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo what you're saying. I think early on, I would say even prior to 2013, I guess I would define myself as an Old Testament type of father.
Explain that.
Man, it was just eye for an eye kind of thing where like I was there was not a lot of grace. There was not a lot of mercy towards my kids and how I was raising them. And then when I needed grace, I learned how to give it away because until then, I didn't feel like I needed it. And then when suddenly my life required that I could do nothing to change my circumstance and I needed someone else to look at me and offer me grace in her, then I realized the power that it had on others and particularly my children. And I also began to see after that point that the softening that they had towards me was remarkable. And then my relationship started growing with them a lot better because it wasn't about holding them to a standard or holding them accountable. It was about growing my relationship with them. And so from a faith standpoint, I learned a lot about my relationship with God through my children because I saw firsthand that when I changed my stance towards them, how much love I received in return.
Right. That's good. So, based off of what you said, Amy, Cameron and Macy were already here before, you made that decision. How did implementing faith in the family, how did that progress?
Well, again, I think we both grew up in church, so that was a given. We were going to church. I don't even really know how to address it that way because I think it's just like you said, it's an intrinsic change when you really realize fully what it is that the Lord is capable of doing in your life and you talk about it. Number one, I will say, this is going to sound weird. Not that I'm jealous, that's not the right word, or envious of people who didn't grow up in church and then they come to know the Lord because that had to be like a powerful moment. And for me, it was more of a realization. But even then, that was probably early 2000s, right? But the 2013 pivotal, he says, yes, he said grace coming from me, but I also had to have grace and forgiveness, right? And so the kids are learning forgiveness. The other day in Sunday school, he said, what's the hardest thing the Lord has ever asked you to do? I didn't say this out loud, but forgive. That's the hardest thing I've ever been asked to do.
Uh-huh.
And when you realize the power that is in that, because you do have basically the Lord on your side for that, it makes it really easy. So I hope example is really more the thing, as opposed to saying, you need to have this relationship with the Lord. Like, I'd rather lead by example, have real conversations, because again, it's their choice. I can't do anything about it, but right, they have to be pursued by the Lord. We can have them be there, but they have to feel that call. So
Yeah, and for me, like, the measuring stick for me as a father with regard to faith is, do my kids come to me with it? Because I can preach and I can set them in a pew on Sunday morning and I can force them to go to church, but have I cultivated the relationship with them enough that they come to me and ask questions? And they do.
they do.
They do. And it's they didn't before, but they do now, because God, it ain't me. Like God works through me every day if I allow Him to, and that is particularly true with my kids. And if they see me consistently doing the same things with regard to prioritization of Him and our family, then I think it's easier for them to say, okay, like, I have questions, I'm going to come talk to you about it. I've had hour-long conversations with Cole about this stuff. But yeah, to me, that's the standard is, are they coming to me with what they have to say?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
This is a question that's not on the agenda, but I've noticed. I mean, I think from the word go, since you guys have been here, and I noticed it this Sunday as well. Your kids sit with you. They don't sit with the youth. Is that on purpose? Is that y'all's decision? Is it their decision? How did that play out? Because every Sunday, we have a section in the church where the youth sit.
Yeah.
And then, but none of your kids have sat with the youth. They are always sitting right beside you guys in a straight line.
Yeah.
Is that intentional? Did
No.
they make that decision? Did y'all?
I mean, they made that decision.
They do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
I realized that the other day. I don't know why. I mean, they go to class, they're with their friends all the time, but when they come in, they peel off and they come and they sit with us.
Yeah.
I love it, but it wasn't asked of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they laugh and joke with their friends and do all the things with their friends, and then for whatever reason during service they come. I don't know. Maybe I've made them feel guilty about it somewhere along the way. I don't know. No,
I really don't think so. Because I'm like, go sit with your friends.
Yeah,
You don't want to
we
go
do.
sit with your friends? No, we'll sit here.
Well,
Yeah.
what sparked that question was what you had just said, was what matters most to you. Like, your measuring stick was whether or not your children will come to you with faith questions.
Yeah.
And it's not apples to apples, but when they're at church and you guys are there,
Yeah.
they're going to y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
Which,
Right.
in my mind, that's a part of the measuring stick.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
need to be the same for every family.
No.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
I've watched your family now
Yeah.
do that every single Sunday.
Yeah, and I love it because even, I don't know so much during service, but sometimes during service, I mean, the chatty Cathy between the siblings, and I'm like, hey, like, y'all aren't 5 anymore. You can pay attention. But I think they love each other, and I like to think that our family has grown and continue to get tighter as we've grown, even as they've moved away.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, last question. Let's go back, Amy, to when you had 3 kids and were breastfeeding and raising all those kids, and Todd's working long shifts. What would you say to the parent out there that has 3 kids under? At what point was Cameron, Macy, and Cole? Like, they were 3 kids under what age?
4.
4. 3 kids under 4. What would you say to that mom?
Relax, right? And you don't have to be perfect, right? Perfection is not the goal, which I think is hard to do because just all the things. So just relax, and don't have to be perfect. You just have to be there.
Be present.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just have to be there.
Yeah.
They're not going to remember. They're not even going to remember all the fun things I planned all summer long to get out of the house so he could sleep, right? For his night shift, like all those things. I mean, they maybe do, they maybe don't. It's like you were there. That's what they remember.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah. What would you say, Todd, to the parent that is just, kind of at their wits' end, or they're just going through it, period. They're in the parenting stage.
Yeah.
Young kids.
Yeah. So I breathe is my first thought.
Mm-hmm.
You have to breathe. But I'm going to take this back really quickly to a sports related thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we do. And I will say that as an athlete, you're taught, pick something out that you can get better at today, right? Let's say you're going to the weight room, and maybe it's legs that day,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe you're working on triceps, whatever it is. Pick something out, because if you go into the weight room and you think that you're going to just do everything that day, you're going to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So as a parent, when you are overwhelmed, pick out something that you can do with your kids that will make an impact right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be the best you can muster that day is, I'm going to sit down and read a story before bed
Mm-hmm.
to my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. I can't take it anymore, but I'm going to breathe enough to read this story to her, because that matters to her. If you pick something out during the day, that's kind of how, I've started practicing taking one bite at a time out of the elephant to eat the whole elephant.
Yeah.
And I think as an overwhelmed parent, like she said, you don't have to be perfect. Pick something out that day that you can be really good at.
That's good. Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
fun.
been fun. And I have so many more questions, but we don't really have time for all of those. So for now, I'll just say thanks for coming on.
Thank
Yes.
you. It was
Appreciate-
fun. This was fun to be a part of.
You did amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Was I a lovely?
You're a lovely
Witness.
witness. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening. You guys be sure to tune in next week for another remarkable guest, but probably not as remarkable as Amy. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Man, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed hearing us ramble about youth sports or other strangely interesting sports topics related to families, please go and like and subscribe to the show so that you can get regular updates when a new podcast is released. We'd also love to connect with you. Head on over to our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're under LC Sports and Recreation.
And if you're new to our podcast, go check out some of our previous episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There's some good stuff on there. And pay attention, because these come out pretty quickly, weekly, as a matter of fact. And you're going to learn a lot about what we have to say with regards to our league and how to win with the home team.